pinched nerve that left me crippled, a new quilting series, Axe body spray, and a local quilt show. These were the happenings of February and March 2026. Hello, Treasure Hearties. My name is Eric, your Treasure Heart creator, and this is the video newsletter where I give you updates about the happenings on this YouTube channel. And it's been a while since the last video newsletter, and let me explain why. So it was early March, and I woke up one morning to hear a little bit of a snap, feel a bit of a crackle, and a big pop. Then suddenly, I had a pinched sciatic nerve, and the pain level on a scale of 1 to 10 was, well, a million. I was literally left crippled. The whole left side of my body was just numb, and I was pretty much bedridden for a little over a week, which made it interesting to use the bathroom. Now, by some miracle, I did get some help from a professional, and I do not wish to demonstrate or explain because, well, some of them left me in compromising positions. Needless to say, whatever they did, it's working because I am back up and walking, and while I still have some numbness in the left side of my left foot, I'm still getting help with it, and it's getting better. Now, it did set me back a lot with work and other things, including things for this YouTube channel. And this was a very serious wake-up call for me to take my health a lot more seriously and being more active and not sit and work so much. Why am I sitting now? But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop posting content for you on this channel and doing other fun stuff like Zoom calls. Speaking of Zoom calls, yeah, that was the cheesiest transition I could have ever think of. February 7th and coincidentally March 7th, 2026 was our monthly Zoom calls. Now, if you've been following these video newsletters, I always mention some totally off-the-wall discussion that we have sometimes, most of the time. Okay, really, it's usually me and someone else bringing up a weird topic. We've talked about different animals that pass gas, and, well, this time it was about deodorants. In particular, Axe body spray. Don't ask me how we got onto that topic. I think I was just mentioning that when I was a teenager, I was very frisky because of Axe body spray. Yeah, there was some very creative adjectives to describe the scent and what it all reminded us of. And we also talked about leather outfits. I'm just going to leave it at that because what happens on Zoom stays in the closet. These Zoom calls are open to anyone interested in joining. And if you're interested, well, send me an email to treasureheartcreations@gmail.com and I'll send you the invitation. Next Zoom is coming up on Saturday, April 4th, 2026, starting at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. And oh, there will be a bonus Zoom later in April as an opportunity for a Q&A session in connection to the Quilty Math series. If you're following the Quilty Math series and have questions, well, join any of the Zooms and you can get your questions answered and get some help. Now, speaking of the Quilty Math series, okay, that was a little bit better of a transition. This series finally went live. Now, I did have to do some last-minute changes because, frankly, the first video was really long. And to put it bluntly, yep, it was a snooze fest. So I decided to split the first video into two separate parts. Now, the first part focused in on squares and something I call the breakdown method, where you break down a finished block into the individual units. Then calculate the size fabrics to cut. Now, part 2 will focus on the opposite, where you take the individual units and calculate the size blocks that you can make with them. Part 2 is getting revamped, and you can look forward to that video in April. People have asked me before, how do I manage my scraps and, well, how do I use it? Now, if you've been following this channel for a while, you know that I work a lot with scraps. And I'm always trying to create things to use or trying to create things using scraps. These days, I almost work exclusively with them. I've gotten a lot of questions about what is the best way to keep your scraps under control and, well, how do I organize my scrap stash? Now, according to these people, it looks as though my scraps are under control and not taking over my space. Oh, if you only knew. Now, in response to that, I am working on something to give you some suggestions and tips on wrangling in your scrap stash and create a scrap fabric management system. On top of all of that, people have also requested for tutorials on how to use their scrap stash. And I kind of thought, really? Now, there are tons of videos out there, and I don't know what unique thing I would be doing, so I'm kind of on the fence with that one. I don't know if I really should create some scrap block tutorials. What do you think? Do you want tutorials on creating quilts or quilt blocks using your fabric scraps? Or perhaps more ideas on how to use fabric scraps in different crafting projects? Put a comment down below and let me know your thoughts about this. In fact, let's make this a treasure hunt. If you comment below with your thoughts on scrap block tutorials, on how to manage your scraps, or just make a comment about fabric scraps, you will be entered into this month's treasure hunt. And the prize? The winner will receive this LDH Midnight Edition 10-inch fabric scissors. Perhaps you never heard of LDH? Well, they're a Canadian-based company that creates scissors and other cutting tools for sewers and crafters. I've tried other popular brands, but personally, I like LDH scissors because of the weight and the general feel of them. Now, I have an extra pair of 10-inch blade scissors that I'm giving away. So again, put a comment down below on your thoughts on scraps and you may win these scissors. All comments must be posted by April 30th, 2026. Then on May 2nd, 2026, during a live session, I will announce the winner. Speaking on the lives, same transition. Did you notice? Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? At the beginning of 2026, I did mention that I was cutting back on the number of live sessions, but that sort of backfired because, well, YouTube pushed me off the bandwagon. I started noticing that videos were not getting promoted and the viewing statistics, well, yeah, they were dropping pretty dramatically. YouTube also did change their tactics and, well, to put it simply, it's like constantly feeding an animal that's never full. The more you feed it, the more it likes you. But the moment you stop and turn its back on you, yeah. So I have to start feeding it again, which means that I might be doing more live sessions. Now, I'm not sure how often or the times. I still kind of have to work out the logistics between my work schedule and other things, but stay tuned. There is a local quilt guild here in Las Vegas that hosted their annual quilt show this past March. Even though this was a guild show, well, the level of quilts was kind of impressive. Now, as always, I won't show you every quilt in the show, but here's a few of my favorites. Wow. Look at that. 3,410 little individual squares. Holy cow. Well, that's it for this edition of the video newsletter. I hope to see you on a future live, but until then, let's all get out there. Let's all create something.